Okay.
You're all set.
Okay. Then I'm going to refer to the agenda. And the first thing I'm going to do is call to order the meeting. And then we're going to move on to approving the May 8th and June 12th meeting minutes. So do I have a motion? Does anybody want? Oh, wait a minute. So let's have a motion to approve both those meeting minutes. Could I have a motion for that, please?
Okay, yes, right now.
Okay, and I guess somebody has to second that.
I'll second it, Katie.
Thank you, Katie.
Yeah.
Is there any discussion of the meeting minutes? Okay, then why don't we vote on that? All who will vote, who want to approve those, say yes. Or raise your-
Yes, aye,
Yes.
yes.
Yes,
And me, and for me also. Okay, well, that was easy. Uh, And then the next order of business is sustainability CT, discuss the potential committee actions identified during the June 12th meeting. Since I wasn't there, I think
It wasn't,
those who were are gonna have to do the heavy lifting here.
I think that was me. So I can, Katie, let's see. Katie, no, okay, yeah. I had put together a sheet. Does everybody have that sheet in front of them? Okay.
no, I don't.
Okay. Well, I can share the sustainable CT screen and we can go through it that way. If
Okay.
that is everybody agreeable to that?
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay.
Sure, yes.
All right. So let me just share that. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So what was focused on, so Josh and Matt, Matt's the other member, right? He wasn't available to come tonight. They were present for the sustainability committee. And so they really focused on actions under number 7, which is renewable and efficient energy infrastructure and operations. So I went through all of the actions in 7 and made that spreadsheet, which I sent to you, of the actions, a short description of what they are and who would be dealing with that action, if at all. So first of all, the benchmark and track energy use, that's something that we currently do, the town does, and we would enlist UConn to help us do the report, which is required for that. So that's not something that the sustainability committee would be doing. And yeah, so we will get points for that. And just so you know, all of these actions apply to the climate leader. Well, maybe benchmark and track energy use isn't, but all of the others are really climate leader actions, which seems like a good fit for this committee to really focus on those actions. The next action, reduce energy across all municipal buildings. If there's a 10% energy use reduction, then you get 10 points. So that is to be seen. That would be, though, staff that would be looking at that because it's looking over the records the report that we're going to do under tracking energy use to see if we've cut down our energy use overall.
Ginny, could I just interrupt with a question?
Sure.
In terms of tracking energy usage, I thought that the town was already doing that with.
We are, yes. yeah.
So what would be different going forward?
It would be, there'd be no difference. It's just like a rolling credit. So we've been doing it. This was applied to the 2019 application, and we're still doing it. So we still get credit for it. So
What
it's
would-
not new.
But you said that you would get help from UConn. Would UConn still have a role in that?
Yeah, they do a nice report off
Okay.
of Portfolio Manager, which is the system that we used. It's a EPA model that we use. So yeah, it's just because they do this all the time, and they seem pretty competent in making nice reports.
Good. Easy
Yeah,
is
good.
good.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
all right. So 7.2, also staff action. 7.3, achieve high energy performance for individual buildings. So I'm hoping that the elementary schools stands up to its claim as a net zero energy school. And I'll just open this up to show you. So you can get, a number of points, not just 5 points, but you have to be either an Energy Star certified building or LEED silver certified building, or achieve a score of 75 or above in Energy Star Portfolio Manager, which is what the town uses. And then it gives you what submissions you have to do. So this is really also an in-house job, I guess you would say, for this action 7.31. And the same with, if I go down here, so achieve LEED zero status. So maybe the elementary school will qualify for zero status, which LEED zero status, which would be 20 points. So, but it's by building. So I don't know that any of our other buildings are high energy performance buildings. So okay. Any questions so far?
Oh.
All right. So moving on to increased use of renewable energy in municipal buildings.
Excuse me, Jenny, somebody.
Yeah.
So the town is planning potentially some new buildings. Maybe I've kind of lost track of it, but maybe a new town hall, maybe a new senior center.
Yeah, and you're referring to the facilities plan, right?
Right.
Which, yeah, nothing is being done with that at this point. So, yeah, I did inquire about where that stands, and it's at a standstill. So,
The study itself, it has
Yeah.
not, it is not underway. Okay, just as well.
taking action based on the plan is
So
not,
the plan has been, or the study has been done, and now
yeah,
the question is, what do you do with it?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you will sound the alarm when somebody starts talking more about that.
Yeah, but yes, I mean, these things ought to be in play, part of the conversation if there are new buildings being built.
Okay.
Um, so there's, I'll just open this up. There's the 7.4.1, which is increase renewable energy usage in buildings. And so you have to do all these things with on-site solar or virtual net metering. And it's got to be, it's 10 points for each 10% of your energy use that's powered by renewable sources. So so the question is that true for the middle school? Is it true for the public works garage? Those are 2 new solar installations. That would definitely be true for the elementary school.
Yeah.
So, and then also number 2, which is having a system that's 40 kilowatts, a minimum size of 40 kilowatts. So I'm not sure. There's a lot of there could be a lot of overlap in points with the Mansfield Elementary School. I need to find out whether we're allowed all that overlap. I would hope so. But again, I think 4.1, 7.4.1 and 2 is really an in-house action. So what Matt and Josh really focused on during the meeting on June 12th was develop a municipal energy plan. And so that's something to be considered by this committee. Is this something that we want to appeal to the town council, you're an advisory committee, to really have the town develop and adopt a municipal energy plan? So first part is to develop a plan, adopt the plan, and then have a residential and business and energy plan. And Josh was particularly interested in this. He was really interested in tracking residential and business sector energy use. So he was keen on that. And so that would be another thing would the sustainability committee want to focus on something like that?
It is a real shame that he's not here then because
Yeah, I know.
um, because there are a few things that come up to mind. One is that, so some of you may know that I work with PACE, People's Actions for Clean Energy. I'm one of the vice presidents, not that it matters. But we've been talking about, particularly Bernie Pelletier, who has made presentations about every town doesn't have to create the wheel, reinvent the wheel with regard to energy plans. That there are a few towns that stick out as doing a pretty good job, and that PACE, we've talked about creating a template, and then you sort of tweak here and you cut here, you nip here and add there, and you come up with an energy plan that is fits your town. And so if there's an interest in doing that, maybe I should talk to Bernie as to where that whole thing is. And then as far as what the energy usage is, that Bernie Pelletier and Mark Scully at PACE, they have developed these energy models, and they will be able to tell us how how much energy is being used right now. And that's all energy. That is propane, gasoline for cars, methane gas for heating, and of course electricity. Probably not too much coal used in town anymore. Oil. And so how much is being used now? Approximately how much is being spent? I think they can do that. I think that they know how many electric cars are in town, more or less. And then they have a nice set of graphics that will show, okay, here's what getting to net zero would look like by 2050. In other words, how much energy can you save in terms of automobiles and trucks, but also heating and cooling homes? How much can you save roughly? And then where does how much local energy is likely to come to be, mainly solar panels, and then how much renewable energy needs to be imported or brought in from the grid. Anyways, it's a pretty interesting exercise then, and they would probably be willing to give a presentation.
Peter, they did one time, didn't they?
They
This was
did,
a few
yeah.
years ago of this very thing, right?
Yep. Their
Yeah.
data is a little bit more solid, and of course there are some new members. Unless if people are interested, I could ask again.
So what you're speaking of is identify how you're tracking this energy use, and then calculate the potential for renewable energy generation, and then adopt a target, which the town would need to take action on, and then formally adopt the plan through municipal process. So all of those things need to be completed to receive a credit. So yeah, so I don't know the committee's thoughts on that.
Well, I would just say that an energy plan could be a very big task. What I think what I want to talk to Bernie about is how can we make this the least painful but best product, most useful product? Because I don't think anybody has the appetite to spend a huge number of hours on it. And then as far as this, getting a handle on usage, I think that their numbers are pretty good. They're not looking at individual energy usage by household, how much oil did you buy? It's not like that. It's their estimates, but they're based on knowing that how many households do use oil and how many do use heat pumps now. And then making rough estimates. And then the tapering off how much you can save and how much local energy could still be developed. It's not precise in the sense that it would not come to, I don't think, okay, here's where we need to get to by 2030, and here's where we'll get to by 2035. And although you could probably make statements like that, but it just kind of gives a sense of what the magnitude of usage is now, energy that we need to stop using, and renewable energy that we will need in the future.
Well, and remember, this committee brought to the town council a couple of years ago the climate emergency resolution, which stated the municipality to reduce its to become net zero energy for municipal functions by 2030. So there's something already there to go by. Even though we're talking residential and business, but still, it's still, there's something out there already in play.
Okay, well, let me talk to Bernie and see what he has to say about that and the energy plan, whether, how much time they have for doing energy plan or energy model. Is there an interest in seeing this presentation? It's probably 15 or 20 minutes for the energy model.
I'm stopping sharing so you can see each other for a moment.
Well, I'm going to take that as not that interested in a presentation of the energy model. Yeah, which, has its uses, but it's not the beginning or end of it all. So I will ask a little bit about an energy plan. How many people think that Mansfield should have an energy plan?
Oh, I think we should have an energy plan, that's for sure. In a lot of ways, just for the growth of the town, for the growth of the government, along that line, yes. And some of this, a presentation could go out in our town newsletter and inform people that way of this is one way we could be helping to reduce our energy costs, both individually and as a town. That it's a great newsletter, and I think it's a good, cheap, inexpensive way to get the word out there and to let people know, what's on the books that way, and to see if there's any interest in having a in-person presentation.
Yeah, that all makes sense. If I understand you, Katie, what you're saying is that this presentation about the energy model, maybe it's, why have Bernie do that or Mark do that? And just for us, that maybe it would be better to put it out a ways and put it into the town newsletter and say,
Yeah.
lots of,
Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
I think that's a great idea. And I'm sorry, Bill, I think I may have interrupted you. Sorry.
Oh, that's good. Very good. Yeah.
So you're suggesting to have information about or asking residents in the town newsletter about adopting a municipal energy plan? Is that right? So,
Well, there's that, but now maybe I'm misunderstanding what Katie said, but if Bernie makes a presentation about what a town energy plan might look like, and so the town energy plan, so many towns have energy plans. Some of them are, I haven't read that many of them, but some are better than others. West Hartford has a good one. So maybe a presentation, what is that? But also, if he's going to be giving a presentation, he might as well do this energy model presentation at the same time, in which they have the data for how many cars there are registered in Mansfield, and how many of them are EVs, and how many houses use oil. It's just kind of interesting to see how much energy the town residents and businesses of the town use. But he could do that. But I think that the idea I particularly like about what Katie is saying is that if let's say we plan this for our September meeting, we might as well advertise it. And if you want to do this, you can have the link to join our meeting. I think we like having people join us. So that's my interpretation, and I can see Katie shaking her head, nodding her head.
Well, we could actually take, so that it doesn't drag the meeting out till midnight, say that for the first 10, 15 minutes of our meeting, that it would be an open forum on it. And then the people could come and state what their opinions and then leave. So they wouldn't have to sit through our whole meeting either.
I guess that I would picture it as that if Bernie or Mark gives a presentation, that presentation, it's not going to be so technical that other people can't understand. So they might as well listen to the presentation, and if they're, then have 10 minutes of comments and questions, or however many. I mean, if people are interested.
Whichever way you want to do it.
Okay, well, I think that is that. I'm going to go back to the agenda.
So I'm not done going
Oh, okay,
through.
I'm sorry. Sorry there.
But what I can do is I can skip the actions that are in-house and just go, unless you want to move on to something else. And we
No,
could,
Jenny, I just lost track of things. By all means,
okay.
continue.
All right, so let me go back to sharing. Where is it? There we go. All right. All right. So another action that the Sustainability Committee could be involved with is, and you have been with the Power Smart campaign, but the committee could do another energy campaign, and that's so the campaign could be focused on a variety of things. It could be on, you've already done battery storage. It could be on home energy audits, heat pumps, weatherization, energy upgrades. So if you wanted to do another one before next August, that would be an action that could be done. Solar for All applied to the 2019, did it? Solar for All, I'm confused now. Does that, I think that we might be able to get credit for Solar for All with this. That was done in 2020, so no, we wouldn't get credit for that. So we have one campaign that was Power Smart, if you want to do another one. And then the other ones were 7.9. Which is CPACE, which is for businesses. And if we had let's see, encourage CPACE participation with one educational event or working with one owner. So the committee could work on that. Or you can earn credits. Let's see. So we've passed a resolution that's still in place, encouraging building owners to access CPACE financing. That would earn some credits. And then, or this is an alternative to that. And then you can earn credit for CPACE projects that are undergoing, are undertaking clean energy improvements. So those were the actions under 7 that were identified as potential things that the Sustainability Committee could be involved in. So an educational event for CPACE, this committee has done that before, working with an individual owner to have them use CPACE for financing, which also ties in with the last meeting that Diane Nadu from the Wyndham Chamber of Commerce, they're, promoting business energy efficiency, energy saving programs. So, if this committee worked with the Wyndham Chamber to really help push that along, that would probably be worthy of points.
Now, we asked them to provide us with some handheld paper material.
Right,
when we
right.
were doing- Have they, yeah, I was thinking about that the other, they've never
I haven't
done
gotten
this.
anything from them yet, no.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't do much else without, their providing that material.
Hmm. I can reach out to her and ask if they have that material.
Because I was
So,
actually talking to a restaurant owner, and he said, "Yeah, energy bills are killing me." And I said, "Oh, well, I have something for you." And then I realized I don't have anything. I don't. All I know is that there's something out there, but we need
mhm,
those materials.
okay. Okay.
Hmm.
So do any of those seem interesting to the, I'm going to stop the sharing so we can see each other. Seem like actions that this committee would like to undertake. Another energy campaign, encourage CPACE participation.
Having just done the Eat Smart campaign, I don't think that I'm up for another campaign, but I would be happy to talk with anyone, advise anyone who wants to embark on that. The CPACE, I think I understand the CPACE program. And then there's the HES audits. So if anyone wants to do it, I'd be glad to be a small part of that effort, but I'm a little, yeah, I think I've done enough of that for this year. Well, if anybody, in thinking it over, decides that that would be a good thing to do, this one of these outreach programs, don't, you can ask questions about what that would be, what that would entail without committing to anything. But it's certainly worth doing. All right. Well, Ginny, do you have more within this section of the agenda, or would we move on?
Sorry. No, I don't have anything more.
Okay, I'm going to go to the next thing, which is deconstruction subcommittee report on progress.
Al, do you have something you wanted to say?
You need to unmute Al.
Well, while you're working on that, I'll just say that we are getting ever closer, the subcommittee, in starting a usable building material pilot. We have a shipping container that we can use at the transfer station. We have Eco Building Bargains out of Springfield, Massachusetts, which is a building reuse store And so they would take materials that are collected in Mansfield and pick it up. And Al's unmuted, so I'll let you have the floor. Are you there? We can't hear you. Um, so yeah, what I've been doing, I've been calling contractors to see who would want to participate in a pilot. And there does seem to be some interest. They really like the idea. So that, could be, this is very optimistic, but it could be in the fall when we start collecting as a pilot. So it's just testing out, how much material we have out there, but we could start taking building materials and usable items coming out of renovations, and salvaging it. So that we could be starting with that.
So this would take place at the transfer station, I would imagine?
Yes,
This
yeah,
is-
yeah. And it wouldn't be open for people who are just using the transfer station. It'd be an arrangement with contractors who have jobs in Mansfield. And what things would be pre-screened. So they would be taking a picture of what they think might be salvageable before it's ripped out. And then we'd also check it after they take it out to make sure it hasn't been damaged. We check it out with Eco Building Bargains because they're the store in Massachusetts. For bigger jobs, Eco Building Bargains would come down and pick the stuff up directly from the job site. So, I mean, it could really be a savings to a
Yeah.
homeowner and ultimately the contractor. So, anyhow, we just have to have the shipping container set up. So I'm working on that, and some contractors who have jobs in Mansfield. So
So in which cases would the eco store in Massachusetts come and get it from the job site? And then they would occasionally, I guess they would do it if that worked, and then they would come to the transfer station when enough stuff had accumulated at the transfer station. Is that the idea?
yeah, so if somebody's doing, let's say they're doing a kitchen renovation and there's a lot of cabinetry that they're taking out, and it's not a teeny tiny kitchen, right? It's a fairly big kitchen. So Eco Building Bargains would probably come down for that and pick it up. So they are very excited about us being a pilot and a satellite location for them. And their circumference of service is within 150 miles of
Oh
them.
my
So
Oh,
yeah.
no.
So yeah. And material does flow through their store. So it's not like it's hoarded there. It actually does move. So
That is really exciting, Ginny. What
yeah.
other examples of materials that can be salvaged? Brick and, I mean, does clapboard or wood flooring ever get salvaged?
I don't know that used flooring necessarily does, but like wood that doesn't have nails in it, that'd be kind of hard to do. But de-nailed lumber, doors, windows, sinks, faucets, there's a whole list of things that they'll take. Cabinets, yeah, my mind's drawing to blank, but I do have a list. We do have a list to work from.
And this eco store in Massachusetts, do they sell to mostly homeowners or to contractors or both?
Both.
Well,
Okay.
Yeah.
Super.
Yeah.
That is great.
Yeah.
do you expect the stuff at the transfer station to be weather protected?
It's going to be in a shipping container, so yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Right.
Yeah.
Neat. That is
Yeah. So we're moving forward on that. So Al, you're on.
Yeah, I'm not Katie here. We had to switch. She's working on mine. But I had a question about the piece there for planning and zoning. There was a piece that planning and zoning was assigned to relative to the battery storage.
Oh, right.
Line up the ordinance or line up the regulation on that. What exactly are we looking for?
Why don't I share the screen again so we can look at the criteria? So that way, let's see. And that is 710. All right. Okay, so it's your zoning regulations permit battery storage systems in certain zoning districts. So that's worth 20 points if the zoning regulations allow for that. And then another action would be to install battery storage system in a municipal building. So those are the two actions. So I put down that the implementer would be planning and zoning. I don't know, Katie, maybe you know if the zoning regs permit battery storage. I don't think they do. I think it's not stated, but
They do in houses, as far as I know. They don't in mobile homes.
they permit battery storage systems, huh?
Yes, they permit. But I'd have to be sure. And we're having extra regulation meetings. So that's why Al's asking, is because he wants to be able to bring it up and make sure that it is how we want it to be in the regulations. Make sure we get it right. Like I said, I know that they can't be in mobile homes. I don't remember exactly the reason why. We could put them off-site into our shed if we wanted to have solar here. But, and they do permit, if Lynn was here, she could tell you, because she's got solar in her house. And
the battery.
yeah. And because you want battery backup, especially in the winter. But we know we can't do it in a mobile home. But in a regular home, you can have it.
So yeah, we can between Katie and me and Al, we can check to see if it's already allowed through the regulations, which I think it would be, because I mean, we were promoting the Power Smart. We were doing the Power Smart campaign, right?
Right.
So when it would, so we probably, yeah, anyhow, we probably get 20 points right there.
But we
But-
want to make sure that it's continued.
Yeah.
And that sustainability does want us, as planning and zoning commissioners, to make sure that it stays in the regulations. I think
Yeah.
that's what we're asking.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
You can hear it on your.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Well, that is exciting, this deconstruction subcommittee efforts. Thank you for that.
And
Is there more to talk about on that, or should we move on to the next item?
There isn't any more to talk about on that, no.
Okay, so the next is recycling coordinator report. So take it away, Ginny.
More talking. Yeah, this isn't really asking for any action from the committee, but I just thought it'd be worthwhile for you to be privy of some of the things that are happening. So I think most of you may be aware that last year I and some volunteers started taking the school leftovers. We call it food rescue. So leftovers from lunches to the soup kitchen. And we, it was 12 through K that we did this. So EO Smith has not really participated in some of the things that we do in town, but this was a way to enlist them in it as well. So I estimate we collected around 4 tons of food
Oh,
for the school
that's
year,
fantastic. Great.
and got it to
Huh.
soup kitchen. So the plan is to expand food rescue, working with Click, which is the cooperative kitchen in Willimantic. And I've started talking to restaurants to see if they have leftovers, and particularly those that may cater or make trays or platters of food for people
Yeah.
to buy and use. I know here at the town hall, like it's very typical for food to be over ordered. I mean, it's not always, but like I had on June 12th, there was so much food left over. It was crazy. It all went to the soup kitchen because it was just way too much food. So I think catering tends to be very liberal in how much food it makes per person.
Yeah.
So I have talked to some restaurants that do these trays or cater,
Mm.
and they all really seemed interested in having letting their patrons know that this would be available for them. And so we're in process of trying to get something like that going. How many of you know that at the transfer station, we're now taking electronics for reuse?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I didn't either. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So we've been recycling electronics since the 1990s, but now and what happens with the electronics that are recycled, they're ground up, they're shredded, and their component parts are recycled. But with the electronics reuse, we can recirculate things. So which is a higher environmental value. So that started in April. And we have a volunteer from SWAC who faithfully comes every Saturday, and it's very brisk business.
Oh.
And Bill and his wife Susanna help
Yeah.
to build shelving for the
Right.
reuse area. The shelving and the electrical stuff was all from salvaged materials, like leftovers from a building job. And so that's pretty interesting. And school composting. So it looks like we're going to get EO Smith on board to at least start composting their kitchen prep food scraps. They haven't been composting. K through 8 has for more than 2 decades. So it looks like it's all go for everybody involved to start doing the kitchen prep food scrap composting. So that's we're slowly, trying to bring EO Smith into the fold. And what happens to the food scraps from the schools? It gets composted in the leaf pile at the transfer station. And this committee has talked a little bit about the idea of having a residential compost collection, but SWAC would really like to survey, and I know some of you at this meeting have also said to survey residents first to see how many people are doing backyard composting, but also find out what the appetite is from residents to incorporate curbside collection into their trash service. And the last thing is about recycle contamination. So we have a new contract for recycling starting this last week, July 1st. The cost of recycling, of processing recyclables, is going way up. And so to get hopefully a better deal on how much the town pays and obviously the residents pay in their fees, we asked to have single family collection, multifamily collection, and transfer station loads measured to see how much trash is mixed in with the recycling. And that's called recycle contamination. So the transfer station, the materials that came in from the transfer station were like under 2% contamination. That's really good. Single family, it was 3%, which is really good. I will say this was done on June 20th after the students left. So I think it would be a really different picture if it were done while students were in single family homes. And multifamily was 47.5%.
Oh, dear.
So we really, we're really going to be socked with some very high fees for multifamily recycling. So, and that was it. That's
That is a great report. Thank you so much, Ginny,
Yeah.
for making that. I learned a lot of things that are going on that I didn't realize. I'll let other people ask questions and comments, and then I have a couple of things to say. Well, with regard to the food rescue, is it fair to say that the real problem, the real bottleneck is people to drive the food from stores, from the schools and from restaurants to the food kitchen?
no, I don't think so.
You have enough people to drive the stuff?
Oh, no, we'd have to recruit people, but what we would need, so there's a pool of volunteers that do the school food rescue. That's not going to change. I'm thinking that we would keep the restaurant stuff separate from the schools. The schools is very planned. You know, you go at 9 o'clock in the morning, Monday through Friday. For the restaurants, how it would work is a restaurant would call up and say, or let's say it's the town hall, right? We have a catered event. We would call up to whoever the coordinator is. It's going to be somebody with CLIC, the cooperative kitchen.
Oh, okay.
And say, you know, we have an event tomorrow, a catered event tomorrow, and we may have food left over. If we do, we would like to have it get to the soup kitchen. And so that event coordinator would put the word out to the pool of volunteers. And then you know, whoever is available, like, yeah, I'm going that way anyhow. I'll come and pick it up if there's leftovers. They would coordinate between the donor and the driver, and then the driver would get it to the soup kitchen. So the bottleneck would be who's coordinating it in my mind. Like, I coordinate the school food rescue. I don't have the capacity to do that for restaurants. So CLIC would do that. And we're looking to do this jointly with the town of Wyndham. So,
Super. I'm just curious, most of the volunteers at the schools, are they parents?
no, we
Really?
have First Church of Christ. We have SWAC volunteers. I'm doing it 1 day a week. We have had some Yukon students doing it. Pre-med students were doing it. Um, and just some other people that are interested. So none of them are parents.
Wow, that is amazing. What a great
Hmm.
idea.
Yeah.
I mean, all of these are good. Yeah, you do a terrific job. Um, well, I guess we're just about at 7. I didn't quite realize that. Ginny, do you want to take a minute to do I guess you told us that about the facilities plan. It's stalled.
Yeah, there hasn't been any action on it, but I'll keep checking. And when it looks like there's some movement on it, I'll let you know.
Terrific. Well, unless there's any other business, anything anyone wants to mention, an event or something like that?
The Repair Cafe is this Saturday, by the way. July 13th from 10 to 2. It's at the Congregational Church at 199 Valley Street in Willimantic.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll just mention one thing, which is that my mother, when she moved out of her apartment at Glen Ridge, had a very nice low black cabinet with drawers and shelves. It was really a nice piece. It was not IKEA, but it was particle board. And first we put it on buy nothing. Nobody wanted it. Then we put it, I thought that Wayne would take it. They don't want anything made of particle board. Salvation Army, no interest, and they don't take particle board. And eventually I borrowed a truck and Maria and I got it up onto the bed. It's very heavy. And brought it out to Savers in Manchester. And it went very smoothly. They had guys outside, women unloading people's cars. Now this was on a Saturday morning. And they took it. And I just will pass that on. Again, this was a pretty nice piece of furniture, but made of particle board. And with that, if there is a motion to adjourn, maybe we don't even need a motion. Maybe we can just.
So moved.
So
Yes.
moved. Second, if
Second.
there's anybody not in favor, then